Sunday, we've been looking at some great stories from the First World War. It's part of a project called World War at Home, which we've been working on with the Imperial War Museum.
One of the most extraordinary events of the conflict took place in our region right at the end of the war. As Sean Peel reports, it happened in Essex and Suffolk and was known as the Harwich U-boat surrender.
Harwich as it is today. But rewind to November 1918, it is the end of the Great War, and in the waters off Essex, Germany's mighty fleet of U-boats surfaced from beneath the North Sea and surrendered.
It was one of the most amazing sights of the First World War, a real spectacle. It was just after the armistice in November, a day not unlike today. The German Navy had surrendered and they surfaced just off Harwich, and they were brought in past Harwich and were moored here, sometimes four abreast on the Shotley side, waiting to be commandeered by the authorities.
David Whittle from the Harwich Society has researched the story. People came from miles around to see the surrendered fleet, even going on boat tours to see the submarines up close. At its peak, there were nearly 200 U-boats stretching back around 2 miles.
It was very, very important to make sure the vessels hadn't been booby-trapped in any way. Those countries, which were our allies, had the first pick of any submarines that they wanted to have to increase their submarine fleet. The rest were gradually broken up, and there's nothing much to be seen of any of them today.
The surrender was taken by the Harwich force under the orders from Admiral Sir Reginald Tyrwhitt. The U-boats were met in the North Sea by a Royal Navy flotilla before being escorted into the river mouth.
It's part of the surrender agreement. There was to be no bands playing, no fraternisation with the German business. It was done very calmly. The ships that went out, their guns were pointing fore and aft. They weren't pointed at the submarine. There were no threats made. It was arranged very, very well by Admiral Tyrwhitt, and I think it was a very civilised affair.
The German sailors thought they might be humiliated, paraded through the streets, but they were treated with respect. They were put onto transport ships and sent home. They never set foot on English soil. Sean Peel, BBC Look East, Essex.
That's another
I have
remarkable
learned
story.
so much
isn't it?
from our First World War series. It's amazing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
Tomorrow we'll bring you the story of the unknown soldiers whose names have finally been restored to the War Memorial in Framlingham in Suffolk.